Welcome back, budding tyrants. It's time to learn the next requirement for freedom you must crush. If you haven't watched the first episode in this series, then any plot for world domination is incomplete. Click on the link to learn how to take over the press. Now, if you recall the definition of a free country, there is an important requirement to overcome: that people can express their opinions without punishment. Now, any pesky intellectuals looking to influence your government with their research through talks and speeches, make sure they have to face civil servants ordered by Jacob Rees-Mogg trolling through their social media posts over 5 years, and if they produce any controversial or problematic material that may contravene civil service values, block them from talking to your government or even visiting. Remember, the hypocrisy to consolidate and cling to power while shirking accountability is how governments become tyrannical. For example, blocking freedom of speech while saying,
"Freedom of speech is fundamental to how our society operates. If you take away freedom of speech, then you undermine all the other pillars that have supported our Constitution. We all have to accept the right of people to express views that not only that we don't like, but on occasions we even find offensive. If we only accept views that we like and find unchallenging, then there is no freedom of speech."
And as for how you class an extremist, being a professor of post-colonial studies at Cambridge University fits the bill. Primavada Gopal, a world-renowned expert on colonialism and its history, was disinvited from giving a speech for daring to criticize racist immigration policies like shipping asylum seekers to Rwanda. Here is the tweet that constituted her thought crime. Next thing to add to the extremist list is writing an article for the New York Times stating a deep correlation between race and privilege, and accusing the Prime Minister at the time, Boris Johnson, of racist statements, such as referring to women in burqas as letterboxes. This is what put the writer and broadcaster Afrat Hirsch on the blacklist. Freedom of speech wasn't made to defend those in power. It was made to speak truth to them, to criticize the government, to criticize the monarchy originally. This is something you need people to forget, however. So make a switch. No more protesting poverty. Now you'll make sure protesting wokeism and political correctness is the mainstream. You keep the people distracted from their loss of power by debating the issues that don't matter to you and leaving the two that do: wealth and poverty. In the words of Philip K. Dick, the manipulation of reality is the manipulation of words. If you can control the words, you can control the people who use the words. Make this plain in the government intention to criminalize hating Britain. Yeah. Now is the point where you have to consider if you're really serious about this tyranny business, as the next step is punishment. In April of 2022, the government updated the Policing Act to make even peaceful demonstration impossible by giving police more power to arrest protesters and punish them more severely by increasing the prison term for an offence from 3 months to 1 year, as well as lowering the bar to what is classed as an offence and applying it to people who don't know they are even committing one, and reserving the right to change the definitions without notice or debate at any time. I'll make a video covering all of this in more detail soon. This is absolutely something that people should have raged against, and it has made legal protest almost impossible in the UK. Now, you may be exhausted. You have the press, you have the police, but the totalitarian crackdown doesn't stop there. There's no rest for the wicked. Next, you have to copy Liz Truss and threaten to ban outright protest groups like Extinction Rebellion and Insulate Britain, and then mobilize to legislate further against strikes and protests past the already draconian measures put in place by the new Policing Act. Watch my previous video on unions for more details on how to suppress unions, but the summary is this. It includes increasing the difficulty to institute a legal strike, disallowing the use of modern technology, and outlawing non-disruptive strikes, which have been successful in Japan and Australia, where operators simply stop charging people for the use of infrastructure. But at this point, well done. By assaulting both democratic protest and industrial action, you have now successfully tied the people's hands behind their back. This will lead the UK to its most extreme anti-trade union laws in its history, making it almost impossible to take legal and effective industrial action. You have finished the work of Margaret Thatcher, who in 1984 removed the right to strike without ballots and the mandatory admission of all workers to be part of a union. Give yourself a pat on the back. Now for the completionist run-through, make sure even the left wing of politics is not left. When the leader of the opposition sacks a senior politician for appearing on the picket line, you'll now know your mission is a success. History doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. And in May 2nd, 1933, Mr. Adolf abolished unions in Germany. As an almost advanced level tyrant now, you really want to copy his playbook, so well done. Now onto your final boss,